Alright, here is a video review for a final test shot run production sample of DX9's Carry, which is their all-in-one Rodimus Prime. And it's really quite good. He is, in vehicle mode, you can see since he is all-in-one, he doesn't separate from the trailer. He's smaller in vehicle mode than I expected. He's a little bigger than G1 Rodimus, maybe roughly the same size as G1 Rodimus. I think a little bigger. I don't have one on hand to check in vehicle mode. But it's a really nice looking vehicle mode, and we'll get to that in a minute. This Autobot symbol is a repro label. It was the first thing I did was stick a repro label on there. Always good to have a few of those sitting around. It will come with just the basic flames. It won't have the Autobot logo there, but I figured just for the authenticity of it, we'd stick them on there. Because he really does feel like Rodimus Prime. He does also come with his little Targetmaster. It's not quite, doesn't look quite like Firebolt. And he has some little Rodimus type details like the wings and the head crest here. And it looks like it makes Carry look much smaller than he really is. Having him sit here next to this. This is about a legend size figure. He's bigger than I expected in robot mode. So there's that as well. I'm going to talk about him for a minute real quick. Because he's very poseable. He's got ball joints at the shoulders, at the elbows, hips, knees, feet are on ball joints down here as well. So you get some good posability out of him. He does parts form a little bit, so if you want to have him, you can actually take the barrel of the gun out from his arm, and he can hold it by that peg as well if you want to give him like a hand weapon. Although it does interfere with the elbow joint. But you can give him that rifle. If you don't like the fins, if you want to have him look more like the standard old Firebolt, these fins are parts forming as well. They just pop right off the back. Come on. They've got a little peg there on the back that pegs into the back of the robot. So you can have just a plain black Targetmaster for the most part, aside from the head crest. You don't have to leave those fins on. I'm going to turn him into the rifle mode. You unpeg this, take the fins off, and he's pretty much symmetrical once you start transforming him. You basically split him in half here at the crotch and fold him up. This arm has his right arm has a tab that tabs into there. And then you rotate the forearms down, and they clip onto these pegs here on the legs. You can see the gun handle ends up in the middle of the gun mode, so you can build it either way. Getting all the ball joints lined up can be a little bit of a pain, but you just peg these together. And then the feet come down like this on that ball joint. Rotate this around, and this flips underneath like this. Same on this side. And this side actually has a little peg where you can peg this foot onto. So maybe we'll use that as the front of the gun. So this side has a little peg in here. It's the peg that holds the lower halves together in robot mode, but we'll use it here to peg this on. And then the cannon, the barrel, plugs into the foot. There's a little tab here. You want to go on the underside. It fits in this little slot here underneath. So you peg this on like this, push it in, and then these little fins, they actually lock the gun together here. It helps hold this together. You just peg those into the side there. And that forms essentially Rodimus's rifle. It'd be cool if these fins were black to blend with the gun a little better. And again, you can leave those off if you want. Now this is essentially how it transforms. You can see this peg is a little short. It doesn't extend much beyond these. But if you turn this back into a foot, you can kind of flip this up and give it the stock there on the rifle. And I feel like that looks a little better. It looks more like a rifle to have that foot flipped up. And once he's in rifle mode, that's his transformation. You can, if you want, peg it onto the rear of the vehicle. There's a little peg there right there. So it can store on the vehicle. I don't know if you want to do that. It looks a little out of place, but you can store it there if you wish in vehicle mode. So anyway, on to Carry himself. Like I said, the vehicle mode is a really nice representation of Rodimus's Prime's alt mode, Rodimus Prime's alt mode. Here you can kind of see some of how it all folds up underneath there. One of the things I really like is it's got hard plastic centers to the wheels, but the tires themselves are rubber. There is rubber wheel there, which is really nice. It gives them a good feel when you're rolling them along. And like you could tell, like that's how I figured. I like when I felt them, they felt very hard. They felt like plastic. I was like, oh well, they're plastic wheels, but when you roll them, you can tell they're rubber. If you've ever had a rubber tire toy, you know, you know what that feels like. But yeah. Now some people have complained that he doesn't have the spoiler sticking out here, and I guess it's possible that they could have maybe molded some of that detail onto this back piece, onto this orange piece here, split in the middle here, but. Maybe they could have done it. I think in Robot Room there might have been room to have a little bit of a ridge sticking out here to represent the fin. I don't know. It's not bothering me really to a degree. It would have been nice to see it, but you get the gist of his vehicle mode, and I think it looks fine as a vehicle like this, even without like a little end of the yellow fin sticking out here. So, like I said, just something I'd seen. It's not something that bothers me. It really is a nice solid figure. And put together very well. So this little bit, and very well designed, this little bit doesn't bother me so much. But yeah, that's really all there is to him here in Space Winnebago mode. He rolls, he's a car, the end. Now to transform, and this, like I said, this is an all-in-one transformation, which is really neat. So you start back here, and you pull this panel in the middle up, lift that up, and that will give you access to back in here. The panels... you can see there's a slight gap, just enough to get your thumb in, so you can pop these side pieces up. See if I can get this. There we go. Snap that up. And once you get those panels loose, it'll untab. You can see there's some little tabs up in here inside that this tabs onto, and that'll let you lift this up a decent amount. You don't want to pull them all the way out yet. But once you get that untabbed, you can lift this panel up. And you kind of want to lift it up and off of, it slides over these things right here. So you want to get that up. The front panel, the hood flips up, this whole panel comes up, and you can lift this whole assembly up off of the main robot. Like this. The side panels fold up on this hinge, and then fold down along this hinge, and that's going to give him his backpack. Or his wings, I guess, not the entire backpack. This whole assembly flips up. You fold these down, fold these panels back out. So fold that down, and fold the smaller panel back out. And then this panel folds up and covers them just like that. And you can kind of start to see how it's coming together here. You pull the side panel out here and here. Just like that, you see the wheels come out to the side there. Frame here. And once you got that done, these fold all the way down and around like this. And then fold up on the inside like this. And then you take these panels right here, lift them up, rotate them around, and they tab on like that. You see we're forming the legs here. Flip the foot down. Now the foot is die-cast. It's the only piece of die-cast I noticed on him is this front foot piece is die-cast metal. There's a plastic piece inside here that I wish they'd put like a little ridge or a groove right inside this piece right here so you could kind of get a grip on it, because there's no real way to get a good grip to flip it out. Even using these little grooves down here, you just don't have the leverage to pop that out. So now this is plastic, so you're not going to like damage any paint or anything. I just use this is just a little piece of nail clippers, but just a little something to get under there to flip that foot piece out. The heel part will be your friend. And again, this is a test shot. I know that it's one of the final production samples. I know they have a poll to vote for how the chest flame should look, so they may still be making some little changes, maybe they'll make this a little easier to get out. And then once that's out, you flip this last little heel piece out, and that's going to form his heel there. And then you've got the legs, and you just twist them around right here at this pivot point right under the hip. Right there where that orange piece meets the black piece, these rotate around, and there you've got his boots. Then up here on the top, you want to flip his head up here, like that. This whole assembly rotates around like this. And before you fold it up, you want to take this main orange piece, it separates from the canopy here, folds up underneath there like that. Now, some people have left this canopy kind of hanging on or folded up like this on his backpack. And I find it looks best if you actually take this and kind of fold it up under here like this. It hides it a little bit better, and it's not as visible from the front in robot mode if you fold that up under there like that. And coming up here to the top part, let's lift this up just a little bit. You lift this, the main chest piece up here, and then you actually got to pull it a little further back. You can see, you can kind of see it moving there on either side of the arms. So you want to make sure that comes all the way back. And then these pieces come down to the side like this, and then fold up like this. And once you've got that, you can take this whole chest piece, slide it up right here, and then fold this down and around all the way to the front. And once that's done, actually before that, you want to fold that down, bring his head up, and then this piece collapses up, and you can see there's a couple tabs here on the back of the chest plate that fit into these slots on this. So you slide this up, plug that in, and once that's all plugged together, these tabs on the side, these pieces come up and then clip on to the side of the chest like that. And there you've got his upper body. Fold his backpack flat, his upper body done. We'll raise the camera up just a little bit more here. Make sure we're focused on him. There we go. You can see that great head sculpt. He's got a really nice, it's based off of the Studio Ox design from what I understand, but it's a really nice looking Rodimus head sculpt. And then the arms, this piece, you just kind of lift it up. There's a little tab that this silver piece sits on attached to the upper arm. You lift this up, rotate this down, and you flip the hand out. So flip the hand out and then rotate it around to face the proper way. And then this piece rotates all the way down and then collapses onto the forearm. And then this silver pipe piece can fold up. And again, there's a little tab here on the back of his forearm that this piece has a little slot to clip onto. So that locks the forearm together. This hinge is a little scary at first, but it does lock together just like that. And same on the other side. Flip his hand out, rotate it, lift this up off the tab and rotate it down, slide it together, and then fold this down and lock it together. And there is Carrie in robot mode. And it's a slick looking figure. I know his fins are a little bigger than some people would like, but I think that dynamically it works well for him. Go down there, show off his feet. But it's a really nice little, I mean, not really nice. It's an excellently well put together figure. The plastic quality seems even better and thicker and stiffer and tougher than the official MP9. The colors are spot on. The orange and the reds and even the yellow paint on the fins back here. It's all just right. It feels right. It really pops really well, and it looks great. You see, he does have a bit of a backpack, but it's actually not as even looking at it on camera, it's not as bulky as it appears. It seems to fit him well. Now, from the back, again, that's where the illusion fails a little bit because you've got the flames on his backpack, but you're not really going to be looking at him from this angle very much. And even then, it's for what it does, considering it takes the whole trailer and turns him into the robot. I think they've done a remarkable job on engineering that. It does give him a bit of a eyesore of a backpack if you're looking at him directly from the back, but really you're not going to want to do that because in robot mode he looks great. He's got posable fingers. He does have the wrist swivels. The last three fingers are all just one swivel piece. The thumb is fixed, but the finger does have knuckle joints. So you can't have him in a pointing position. You can give him this is the end of the road Galvatron pose. If you saw my Twitter, I posted that picture earlier of him pointing at the camera. So yeah, very nice, good ratchets, everything. If you lift his arms up, they do kind of bump into his head, but only if you're kind of sticking them up to the side. The ratchets seem good. Good solid ratchets forward and back on the arms. He's got a ball jointed head. Is it ball jointed or is it? Yeah, it's ball jointed. Head here. And again, that head sculpt just looks really great. You can open up his chest here and show off. It's not removable, but he does have a painted matrix inside his chest plate there. He has a waist swivel, always good to have. Ratcheting thighs, or hips out to the side, as well as the swivel there. ratcheting knees. They're kind of a soft ratchet. They don't click, but you definitely feel them. You're not hearing a loud click, but you can feel a good solid click. Bending his knees. He's got ankle tilts. And he doesn't have his foot moves forward. It doesn't point back very well. That's about as far down as you can get it, but you can get him in some leaning forward poses if you want. But all in all, like nicely posed, nicely articulated. Now, holding the rifle, like I said, if you leave this folded down, it makes it really hard for him to grab this peg. And if you're having trouble getting him to hold the gun, you may not have the fingers positioned rightly. The fingers are on pretty stiff joints, so you're going to be able to get him to hold the gun and support it. But you can see with that extended gun, it kind of forces his arm to be straight, which is a little bit of an issue. But you can get it in there. But what I found is I take it, I have the rifle like this, and I just rotate this out to the side here, and you can kind of rotate this up, rotate this around, and with this on a hinge, you can rotate this piece around like this. It kind of gives like a sight or like a ammo cartridge on the side of the rifle. And again, it's easier to do if you don't have these fins on. But that clears it up, and that lets him hold his rifle in his hand without interfering with his elbow joint. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do that. But there are options for posing with the rifle. And like I said, he's got a pretty decent grip on the rifle. If you get that stuff out of the way, that peg handle is certainly long enough for him to hold it. And again, that's because I don't have the... once you do that, it helps to push his fingers in to make sure he's got a decent grip on the rifle. Oh, that's right. I didn't push it down far enough. There we go. I pushed it down so far that his actual fingers were closed too much. It wasn't holding him as deep as it could. There we go. So he can hold his rifle fairly well. It's not perfect, like I said, because the fact that the hands aren't solid pieces. It's possible to knock the rifle out, but once you get it in there and you get the fingers situated around it, the joints on these, especially on these lower fingers, are tight enough to hold the rifle. So yeah, just really, really great. Really happy with this one. DX9. This really should be one of their showpiece cases because. Or showcase pieces. Now that I've learned how to talk, because I think it shows where they've come as a company. It's a really well-made figure, and like I said, there's a few minor issues with the lack of the spoiler in vehicle mode. Again, I feel like this gun could have maybe been executed a little better. The little robot figure by itself is great. I like him. I feel like the rifle could have maybe benefited a little bit from maybe less engineering, maybe not try to put so many hinges and joints in it. I don't know, but he does hold it very well. His elbows, he does have a swivel here, and you'll notice his elbows are sitting a little lower on his arm than they would generally be, and there's no joint up in here. There's just one single joint there, so you don't get quite as much movement out of the forearm there as you might otherwise with some other figures. And that's the one thing that does kind of confuse me a little bit, but I guess because of these pipes, because it seems like you could have maybe raised the elbow joint up a millimeter or two here and have it look a little bit more natural and maybe not interfere with how it works. But considering now that I look at it and see how this rotates up and is supposed to peg on here, they'd have to redesign that. So I see why they put it where they did. It seems like with a little more thought, maybe that joint could have been a little higher, maybe looked a little bit more natural. It doesn't look bad, but like I said, I'm really nitpicking to find issues with this because overall, I think it's a really well-made, really great-looking figure. I can't wait to put him on the shelf. I don't really have any retail release toys. If you saw my Twitter, I got a lot of stuff today, so I had to kind of pick and choose what I was able to carry in to shoot these videos tonight. There's a couple things I forgot, small things that I meant to grab and forgot for my City Commander review, but I just couldn't get all the stuff I wanted. If you want to see him with Toy World's Grimshell, we can show him there with those two, and we'll be reviewing him later on. I've got to figure out he might come Sunday or Monday, depending on how much time I get to mess with him. If you have Toy World's Roar, there's an idea of how they look together size-wise. Now, I could pull out some Transformers Rid Legion figures, but I don't think those are really going to convey him. He's roughly the size of MP9 in robot mode. Not exact, but roughly that height. So he'll look okay in robot mode with Masterpiece figures. It does, like I said, because of the all-in-one transformation, it makes his vehicle mode a little smaller scale than Masterpiece figures, but in robot mode, he's going to fit in right on your shelf. He's got a little bit more detail. He's not, as I said on Twitter to a couple of my friends, he's not an exact match for the current MP aesthetic in its design, but he looks great, and he's a really excellent figure overall, and I think if you put him on a shelf with your other Masterpiece figures, you're not going to have a problem with him sitting up there. He looks really great. So yeah, like I said, a few minor flaws. Like I said, it would have been nice if maybe you didn't have the flames on the back if he had the red fins. The backpack, surprisingly not as unwieldy as you would think for something like this that compresses a lot of that trailer shell into the backpack itself. But, so yeah, like I said, backpack maybe could have been a little cleaner, elbows could have been a little higher, but everything I can think of as a negative on this is such a minor thing overall when compared to all the good stuff in it. If you're looking at it and you're thinking about purchasing it, I don't think I'd have any reservations in saying it's worth picking up. I haven't noticed any quality issues. Like I said, he's a really good, solid build, and I think if you've already had your eye on it, you should definitely pick it up. And if you haven't had your eye on it, check this out. This is a really nice looking figure. I think you should take the time, and if you're even remotely interested, he's worth picking up. If you just hate Rodimus and don't ever want him on your shelf, well, then obviously you don't want to pick him up. You don't want to buy him. But I've had a lot of toys come through lately, and check them out. But this is one of the better third-party toys I've gotten to mess with in the last several months. Very well made, a really neat design, and I have no reservations about recommending him if you're looking at him. So there it is, DX9's Carry.